Hey guys, welcome to another devotional. So today's devotional is going to be out of Romans 12, verses 1 and 2. So it says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So I believe the writer of Romans is Paul, the Apostle Paul. He is writing to the Romans and trying to get them to understand is that when they accepted Christ, they are a new creation. And in being a new creation, they give of themselves. They selflessly do the work that God's called them to do. And that's explained in Matthew 28, which is actually KSM's uh, and my private channel's mission statement. And that is, give me one second, just find it. The Great Commission. Starting in Matthew 28, verse 18, saying, Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. So that's kind of our jobs as believers, is making disciples of all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So that is, and how do we do that? Well, verse 1 says it of Romans 12. Present your bodies a living sacrifice. You give of yourself. You put your pride down and you put your flesh down. You die to your flesh. And that is what it means to be a living sacrifice, is that you put yourself aside within reason. Because if you put yourself aside too much and not take care of yourself, you're also kind of conflicting with the whole ability to do that. But the next thing is to be holy. Well, the words that are used in the Greek and in the Hebrew, holy means set apart. You are set apart, you're set aside for a reason, for a purpose. Well, what is that purpose? Again, going back to Matthew 28. Um, it you just are you are separate from the world now. You are no longer part of the world, which is what verse 2 will explain. Um, Something that's acceptable to God. Well, what's acceptable to God? Righteousness, faith, um, selflessness, loving your neighbor. It's all these things. And then this is all of our reasonable service. This is what we're supposed to do. And how do we do this? By not being conformed to this world. So not acting like a person of this world, having uh, going out and doing acts of lewdness and drunkenness and all these things that don't reflect Christ. And that is how we do that. It's transforming our minds, renewing it. Uh, and that is by the washing of the word. And there's a verse in the Bible that talks about that. Uh, and this is all to do something that proves what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. That is the perfect will of God. And that's kind of my encouragement, is for especially my fellow believers, is to do that, to put yourself aside and like follow the two greatest commandments, loving God and loving people. And just doing it selflessly, not looking for rewards from it. Jesus once told the religious authorities during his time or at least his disciples, about the religious authorities is that they seek the praises of man, and that is their reward. But those who do not let their left hand know what their right hand is doing, or vice versa, uh, that that is what is acceptable to God, and that's what will be rewarded from God. Is you'll be rewarded from God for that, and that's kind of just my encouragement is to, as we're going through this week coming up to Easter, is to put yourself aside and look at Christ and what He did and how He does things. And yeah, that's my encouragement to you guys. God bless. I'll see you guys in another month. Bye.